Hello my friends, if Russians are saying that the situation is not good, it is definitely not good. This is the military map that was shared by Rybar, military blogger, and he is affiliated with the Russian Defense Ministry. However, his maps are a little bit different compared to Gerasimov's, where Rybar definitely shows the Ukrainian territorial gains, and this is happening in Leman direction. You may see the city of Leman itself. It's better to call it a town. After all, it's not very big. Well, this Ukrainian counteroffensive started the last week, where Ukraine spread the efforts to gain more territories and to propel towards Stavki and Drobyshevo, those two small villages. The main goal for Ukraine here is to cut Russian positions in all of those small villages that go in parallel with those rivers, like Seredne, Shadrigolove, Novoselivka, Yarovaya, Sosnova. Well, there were some of the reports about the fight ongoing in Shadrigolovo. That's the name of this very interesting village, but I don't have the confirmation for now, as well as the Russian channels, but some of the military maps, they show the presence of Ukrainian army. It's hard to cross-check. And here we see the zoomed-in image. Ukraine went to Nove or Novoe village. Nove it's in Russian, Nove in Ukrainian, but nevertheless Ukraine has some of the territorial gains, plus one village for Ukraine and the part of the road. And guys, before I was sure that Russians will manage to occupy Leman this year, but now I'm not sure. I didn't expect this Ukrainian counterattack. I think Russians also. For sure, they were not prepared. They thought that they're on attack. They have this advantage. They almost cut Ukrainian supply lines here. But no, Ukraine hit them to the most vulnerable part, I would say. And Ukraine has better supplies in the northern area. That's why Ukraine is not acting from the south, from Leman itself, this direction, because of the poor supplies. So we witness one vector Ukrainian counterattack, and only time might show whether Ukraine is successful with it. The chances are high because Ukraine cuts Russian logistics, and the situation for Russia deteriorates in that sphere. I just want to show you the place where it's all happening. So Leman is over here, Leman, and here is Slavyansk. The idea for Russia was to go from Leman to Slavyansk, but now Ukraine counterattacks from this northern area. We don't have the latest update from the Maikos analysis, but I'm sure that Ukraine propelled forward. Even if Russians are saying about it, it is definitely like that. My friends, just a short reminder, as usual, please press your like to this video just right now, and also subscribe for the channel. If you can, you may also support me on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below. Thank you so much for making my job possible, and let's continue with the video. And there's also one more place where Ukraine is successful. I'm speaking about Dnipropetrovsk direction. There Ukraine has 1, 2, 3 attacking vectors, and just for the last couple of days Ukraine gained more territory. So let's go step by step. For example, in Novoihorivka village, Ukraine propelled the most and liberated several of the fields, plus the settlement itself. Well, now it is still in a gray zone, but there was the presence of Ukrainian army. Here we have the map, so confirmed liberated territories and expansion of the gray zone in several of the attacking vectors. One towards Solodki, the other one towards Novogrigorivka and Novoyegorivka. Those are the names of the settlements, also Zaporizhzhia. From what I see, Ukraine even entered from Dnipropetrovsk Oblast towards Donetsk, already liberating the first settlement. So basically Russia is controlling tiny little small part of Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, but before their territorial gains were a lot, let's say. So Russia is losing initiative. The only direction where Russia is capable for something is Kostyantynivka, where Russia tries to enter the city. And those two Ukrainian counterattacks, we also have the report about it. Here we see it on the vector map from the Maikos analyst, and you may check out the link for his social media in the video description right below, where you may find the link also for the military map, the interactive one. So the same Dnipropetrovsk direction, Pidibna, Ukraine already entered Donetsk Oblast from it, and attacks also towards south near Alexandergrad, which means that Russia is losing its positions. It is fantastic. Russia didn't put attention on defense, building those defense lines. Mostly Ukraine was busy with that. And this picture shows the Ukrainian defense lines. And look at those Russian ones, yeah, that Ukraine wasn't really capable to penetrate back in 2023, but now it has the chance, and that's the topic of another video. And I guess Ukraine is preparing some bigger scale counteroffensive, not just Leman, Dnipropetrovsk, but something really bigger. I'm not sure if Ukraine has resources for that, but that would be very profitable in the coming future, because Russia has problems with supplies. So for them, it's the big problem not even to attack, but to keep the ground. And here you see, well, here's the Pokrovsk. And Russia occupied it. They went towards the Horyshina village. But what is next, Russians? What do you want to do? Penetrate several of the defense lines of Ukraine? Well, before there were 4 of the defense lines after Pokrovsk, but now I see even more of the lines. And this is the iron belt of Ukrainian army. I guess it's all iron belt from Zaporizhia towards Kharkiv. Ukraine managed to really stop Russian offensive by those defense lines, and the lines, they're not made to accommodate infantry. Now it's very dangerous. Infantry is exposed in the trenches. That's what Russia built there for the infantry. But Ukraine built the obstacles that jam Russian army into vulnerable spots for them, which are under the drone surveillance and drone attacks all the time. Ukraine keeps those specific passages open for Russians, and Russians go there. They think that they penetrate the defense lines, but instead they're going right to the trap. And how to attack differently for Russians, they cannot comprehend. Over 1.5 years, Ukraine has slowly but consistently implemented its obstacle-based fortification strategy and now has a solid and complex fallback line grid for most of the country. Let's look at the results achieved and draw some conclusions. Well, the conclusion is total madness for Russia, and their goals of the special military operation they're just unachievable. Alright, about Kostyantynivka, it's very hard there for Ukraine. You see many of the Russian flags. They continue their infiltration attempts. The small groups of the Russian soldiers are entering buildings, basements, and they accumulate their forces for the further movement. Yeah, sometimes they give up to Ukrainian army, but judging on the current picture, I am sure that Russians will occupy Kostyantynivka maybe this month, maybe the next one. Yeah, Ukraine tries to send some of the reinforcements. It is very risky to deploy them towards Kostyantynivka because there is also the risk of the encirclement, and Russia is using the drones, causing some of the losses for Ukrainian supplies. But I think Ukraine is now concentrating main resources and reinforcements to hold Russians in Kostyantynivka as long as possible with the minimum losses, and Ukraine is preparing already the defense of the further settlements in this iron belt, and the main defense goes for Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. Russians are trying to move towards Slavyansk from Alexandrivka, but they're doing it very, very slowly. I think the last time they moved here was more than a week ago. So yeah, in general, there are multiple of the points where Ukraine is successful, and you see what is happening behind the front lines in Crimea, even on the Russian territory. Plus, there is the information that the road between Rostov-on-Don and Taganrog is on fire. Yeah, the fire was reported in Taganrog. There is an airfield, but also this road was hit with the Russian supplies. Voyevoda Veshaya, that's the Russian military channel, well, the Hornets have reached the Rostov-Taganrog highway. We predicted a few weeks ago that this would happen. Next is just M4. M4 is the main road that goes from Moscow to Rostov-on-Don, Prigozhin's highway, and it is the main artery for the Russian entire war in Ukraine. Maybe just the Russian group in the northern part of Kharkiv and Sumy regions, they're not using this road, but the rest of the army, they crucially need M4, so it's the main task for Ukraine to cut that one. And I think after all it will be done, Ukraine understands the importance of the Russian supplies, logistics and highways. And this is the northern part of Crimea, Jankoy region. Russia lost several of the vehicles. They were all hit by Ukrainian drones. We have daily videos of the ambushed Russian trucks, so it's very hard to be a Russian driver there. So Crimea is already mostly isolated. And Russians managed to capture one of the Ukrainian Hornet drones. They say that it is made in the United States of America. They show that it has a couple of the cameras, one in the front, the other in the bottom. It's made out of the foam plastic. They say it's the high quality. This is the processor, the controller. It carries the small shell. It was disarmed here. And this is the controller especially for the shell, initiator. And also it was very hard for them to demine it. They say that if they cut the wire, the system triggers the involvement and automatically kabooms the shell. So they followed a different protocol and they put the detonator out from the shell itself, and they didn't mess with electronics. The drone itself, I thought it's bigger, but it's kind of small. Well, it's very well made. The design and everything, and the battery is quite high capacity. It has just a single motor on the back, you see, an electrical engine, but it's still enough for the drone to fly by 150 kilometers, even more, as Russians say. I like it a lot, like smooth, aerodynamic, and very cheap in construction, I would say. And Russians are shocked how well it has been built. As for the single-use drone, and they say it's made in the United States of America, but no, Ukraine produces those, maybe together with Americans. Who knows, who knows? Update from Yaroslavl Oblast. Ukrainian drones are flying, kabooming everything. Ba-bam, ba-ba-boom. And they have the rainy weather, so the rain looks like that. It's kind of nasty. Everything is oiled. This is not so good for the nature, I agree. But Ukraine doesn't have the other option. The real sanctions are not working, only kinetic. Yeah, sadly, but there is an oil rain happening. Oh, come on. I cannot make this thing up. It is like that in Russia. Russian Colonel Oleg Sokolenko, the military commissar of Rostov's Pervomaisky and Proletarsky districts, had died after falling from a window of his own apartment. Sokolenko was found unconscious beneath his apartment building with injuries consistent with fall. He later died from his injuries. So, Colonel, minus Colonel, windowed. Russians, you blocked internet, now you need to block windows. They're very dangerous, you see. Most of the Russian officials, businessmen and generals, they've been windowed. Windows. And this is the very interesting picture Zelensky shared today. Allegedly, Ukraine got the access to internal information that was presented to Putin about his personal rating, according to independent polls. But I think it's all, after all, lies. I think more people don't like Putin right now. And you see the huge drop here since the beginning of the year. So 2025, 2026, this is the start. 75% of Russians, they approved Putin's policy. Now it's just 55%. So the drop by 20%, and disapproval rating from 14 or 15 to 33. And those are the numbers which they write to Putin. The last official number shared by the Russian propaganda poll VTSIOM showed 64% of Russians approved the Putin's policy. And after it, VTSIOM changed the statistics, and later on it increased to, I guess, 70 now. But the real numbers, I guess, they're vice versa. It doesn't mean that most of the Russians, they don't want to occupy Ukraine. They're just suffering, you know. They don't have MasterCard, they don't have Visa, they're under sanctions, they don't have normal internet, they have the problems in the economy. That's why they want to finish this war. They would like Ukraine to be occupied, most of them. They're chauvinists, but because they suffer, they want to stop and finish this war. This is not really popular. And there is even the downfall of the Russian government party, Единая Россия. Well, communists, they also want to occupy Ukraine. It's understandable. Новые люди, it's also rising. All of those parties are basically pro-Putin's. Okay, so they have the different numbers, but Единая Россия, so United Russia, drop means that Russian system, Russian government itself is not that popular. It's losing the popularity in Russia. Oh, United Kingdom, welcome to the club. It's the first time Brits managed to capture a Russian Shadow Fleet vessel. Well, actually, it's not truly Russian. It's registered in Cameroon, but it was operating with the Russian oil, with the Russian crew members for the Russian company. So maybe it's Russian after all, and SAS was landed there, SAS or SAS, how it's better to pronounce the name of this very special unit of the UK, and maybe they stormed this vessel. Well, there was no resistance, but who knows. There were some of the rumors that Russians might deploy some of the armored forces on those commercial vessels, some of the private security guard, and of course they were looking for suspicious items and going from one place to another. Well done, UK. Before, the same operations were done by American forces, by Belgium, by France, by Sweden, and now UK, independently. By the way, before, UK helped to detain several of the Russian vessels, but never ever did this job on their own, and yeah, this is outstanding. Big like. Alright guys, that's all for today, and stand by for more videos. To be updated, subscribe for the channel, and if you want to support my job, please follow me on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or press button join to join membership of YouTube channel. My friends, thank you so much. You're making this job possible for me, and also don't forget to press your like. Stay awesome, stay superb. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.